This is absolute unforgiving war, and Fairmont Crest will never be the same. Everything just changed in the blink of an eye, and if you thought the drama couldn't get any more intense, you were dead wrong. The storm clouds have literally and figuratively gathered over our favorite town, and the sheer level of betrayal, obsession, and savage confrontations we are witnessing is enough to leave anyone breathless. We are talking about a catastrophic collision of past loves, current devotions, and toxic desires that threatens to tear the Dupree and Richardson families apart forever. This isn't just a lover's quarrel. This is a battle for survival, sanity, and the ultimate prize of Dani Dupree's heart. Buckle up, because the winds of change are howling, and the wreckage left behind will be absolutely devastating. Let's set the stage for this unprecedented level of chaos. Martin Richardson's massive political fundraiser was supposed to be the event of the season, a glamorous night filled with Genoa City elites and Fairmont Crest royalty. But Mother Nature had other plans, unleashing a terrifying tornado that plunged the country club into absolute darkness. But let me tell you, the real storm wasn't the shattering glass or the falling crystal chandeliers. It was the explosive, suffocating tension between Bill Hamilton, Dani Dupree, and Andre Richardson. This is a classic, brutal showdown. A versus B, the toxic, manipulative ex-husband versus the devoted, terrified current husband. And caught in the middle is a woman fighting for her life and her peace. Before the storm even hit, the emotional warfare was already brewing behind closed doors. In a deeply emotional, gut-wrenching moment, Andre Richardson confided his darkest, most paralyzing fears to his brother, Ted. Andre is a man on the edge, utterly terrified by what he is seeing. He watches Bill Hamilton circling Dani like a vulture, trying to use every possible excuse to slither his way back into her life. Andre's fear is palpable, and it breaks my heart. He knows that Dani's fragile health, specifically her terrifying battle with the BRCA gene, is the perfect twisted excuse for Bill to play the role of the concerned ex. Andre sees right through it. He knows this isn't about care. This is about control. This is a calculated, savage invasion of their marriage under the guise of fake empathy. And who better to understand this messy, complicated web of lingering feelings than Ted Richardson? Ted is currently drowning in his own romantic chaos, completely entangled in his messy, confusing feelings for his ex-wife, Nicole Dupree. Ted feels a profound, deep empathy for Andre's situation. He listens to Andre's desperate pleas and advises him to be patient, to hold the line, and to trust his wife. But the irony is thick, isn't it? As Ted hands out this sage advice, he is secretly questioning his own boundaries with Nicole. Let's dive deeper into Ted's hypocrisy for a second. Ted is sitting there nodding along with Andre, playing the supportive brother, but his mind is racing with his own forbidden desires. We all know Nicole Dupree just confessed her steamy, inappropriate fantasies to Ted right in her hospital office. Ted is currently dating Shanice Johnson, a woman grieving the heroic death of Derek Baldwin, yet Ted is dangerously close to crossing the ultimate line with his ex-wife. So when Ted tells Andre to stay strong against Bill, it is the ultimate case of the pot calling the kettle black. Ted knows the magnetic, destructive pull of a Dupree woman, and he knows exactly how hard it is to resist. This brotherly advice is laced with a heavy dose of a guilty conscience, but no fortress is strong enough to withstand a literal tornado. When the catastrophic storm strikes the country club, the power grid fails, plunging the venue into terrifying darkness. Amidst the screaming guests and the chaotic scramble for safety, a twisted stroke of fate traps Bill Hamilton and Dani Dupree inside a pitch-black, claustrophobic elevator. The symbolism is heavy and suffocating. They are trapped in the dark with their past, with no escape. This is where the psychological warfare truly begins. Bill, ever the opportunist, uses this terrifying, enclosed space to launch his emotional assault. He drops his arrogant lawyer facade and starts pouring out his regrets, desperately expressing his desire to mend the shattered pieces of their history. He wants her back, and he is using the terror of the storm to manipulate her emotions. Let's not forget the sheer scale of this disaster happening right outside those elevator doors. Martin Richardson had pulled out all the stops for this political fundraiser. We are talking about Genoa City royalty in the house. Victor Newman arrived in a helicopter, and the Abbott family, Jack, Diane, and Kyle, were mingling with Fairmont Crest's elite. The champagne was flowing, the cameras were flashing, and it felt like the calm before a glorious triumph. But then the sirens wailed. The sheer panic that erupted when the lights cut out and the crystal chandelier smashed into the floor was like a scene from a horror movie. And amidst that terrifying chaos, while Jack Abbott was desperately shielding Diane, Bill Hamilton saw his twisted window of opportunity. He used the terror of a natural disaster to trap his prey. But if Bill thought Dani was going to melt into his arms, he was tragically, hilariously mistaken. Dani Dupree is not the weak, subservient woman she used to be. She is a warrior. In the pitch black of that elevator, Dani unleashes a savage, explosive, verbal beatdown that will go down in Fairmont Crest history. She does not soften, she ignites. She screams at him, her voice dripping with venom and years of repressed agony. She calls him exactly what he is, a selfish, narcissistic monster who has never, ever waited for anyone in his entire life. When have you ever waited for help? She demands, her words echoing in the cramped space. She brutally dismantles his fake apologies, exposing the ugly truth that Bill doesn't want to love her. He merely wants to possess her. He wants his favorite toy back on his shelf. The tension in that elevator reaches an absolute boiling point. It is suffocating. Bill, desperate and losing ground, makes a fatal mistake. He reaches out in the dark, trying to gently touch Dani's hand to comfort her. Big mistake. Dani recoils as if she has been burned by acid. She draws a massive, impenetrable red line in the sand. This is the moment she claims her power. She looks him dead in the eye, or at least where his eyes would be in the dark, and fiercely declares that her love, her loyalty, and her entire soul belong to Andre Richardson. She makes it violently clear that her trust in Andre is unshakable, and Bill is nothing but a toxic ghost she has exorcised from her life. It is a triumphant, empowering moment for Dani, but you can literally feel Bill's ego shattering into a million pieces. But the drama doesn't stop in the elevator. Oh no, the universe is working overtime to expose Bill's creeping obsession. Enter the fierce, unstoppable matriarch of the Dupree family, Anita Dupree. With the razor-sharp instincts of a mother bear protecting her cub, Anita spots something truly chilling in the dimly lit shadows of the gala hall. While the rest of the guests are panicked about the storm, Anita catches Bill Hamilton lurking in a secluded corner. And what is he doing? He is secretly, longingly staring at an old, precious keepsake of Dani's. The absolute hunger and twisted desire in his eyes send shivers down Anita's spine. This isn't just nostalgia. This is a dangerous, unhinged obsession, and Anita sees the threat loud and clear. Let's talk about that keepsake Anita caught Bill holding. What could it possibly be? A faded photograph from their wedding day? A piece of jewelry he bought her when they were young and foolishly in love? Whatever it was, the way Bill was clutching it in the dark, tracing his fingers over it while the wind howled outside, was straight-up psychological thriller material. It proves that Bill isn't just reacting to his current miserable marriage with Haley. He has been harboring this dark, festering obsession for Dani for a long time. He has been waiting in the shadows, biding his time, and Anita Dupree, with her eagle eyes and zero-tolerance policy for nonsense, caught him red-handed. You do not cross Anita Dupree and expect to get away with it. Armed with this chilling discovery, Anita immediately goes on the warpath. She tracks down Dani and Andre and delivers a razor-sharp, terrifying warning. Anita doesn't mince words. She lays it out with brutal honesty. She tells him that Bill is actively plotting to destroy their current happiness to reclaim his former glory. She sees his end game. Bill wants to tear down Andre to build himself back up. Anita's warning is a massive wake-up call, a siren blaring in the middle of the night. She knows that Bill's toxic presence is a poison that could destroy Dani's fragile peace, especially now when she needs a stress-free environment to battle her BRCA gene diagnosis. We also have to acknowledge the devastating reality of Dani's health crisis. Testing positive for the BRCA gene is not a minor plot point. It is a massive, life-altering terror that hangs over Dani and Andre every single day. The anxiety of potential surgeries, the fear of the unknown, it is a heavy burden for any couple to bear. For Bill to weaponize this vulnerability, to use her medical fears as a Trojan horse to infiltrate her life, is the absolute lowest of the low. It is a savage betrayal of basic human decency. Andre sees this, and it fuels his protective rage to astronomical levels. He isn't just fighting for his marriage. He is fighting for his wife's physical and mental survival. Andre's reaction to Anita's warning is nothing short of explosive. The fear he confessed to Ted earlier morphs into a fierce, burning rage. Hearing that Bill is physically lurking, holding on to keepsakes, and plotting in the shadows pushes Andre over the edge. This is a man who has already lost so much in his life, having lost both his parents in a tragic plane crash. He refuses to lose his wife to a narcissistic ex-husband. Andre makes a solemn, unbreakable vow right then and there. He swears to protect Dani at all costs. He will be her shield against Bill's silent, venomous attacks. The battle lines are officially drawn. It is Andre versus Bill, and only one man can walk away from this war victorious. But wait, because the most shocking confrontation of the entire night comes from the person you would least expect. Chelsea Hamilton, Bill and Dani's own daughter, steps into the ring, and she is taking no prisoners. Chelsea has been watching this agonizing dance from the sidelines, and she is absolutely sickened by her father's manipulative tactics. She refuses to stand by and let Bill destroy her mother's happiness. In a scene that will leave you gasping for air, Chelsea tracks her father down and delivers a savage, ironclad ultimatum. This is a daughter looking her father in the eye and telling him he is the villain of the story. The emotional weight of this confrontation is absolutely crushing. Chelsea does not hold back. She demands that Bill stay far, far away from Dani if he has even a single shred of self-respect left in his miserable body. She brutally reminds him that Dani is genuinely, finally happy with Andre. Chelsea points out the undeniable truth. Bill's sudden reappearance and relentless pressure are causing severe emotional distress for Dani, which is the absolute last thing she needs while facing a life-threatening health crisis. Chelsea is acting as her mother's ultimate protector, fiercely guarding the gates against her own flesh and blood. The sheer bravery it takes for a daughter to cast her father out is staggering, and Chelsea does it with a fiery, righteous anger that proves she is a true Dupree at heart. Bill Hamilton is left completely stunned. He is physically taken aback by the sheer force of his daughter's rejection. But here is the sick, twisted tragedy of Bill Hamilton. Even after his own daughter begs him to stop, even after she points out the danger to Dani's health, his internal selfish desires still burn out of control. His narcissistic need to win, to possess Dani, overrides his love for his child. He is driven by a toxic, relentless compulsion to drag Dani back into his orbit. This confrontation doesn't cure him. It only makes him more desperate. The father-daughter relationship between Bill and Chelsea is now fractured beyond repair, completely shattered by his blind, selfish obsession. What does this mean for the future of Fairmont Crest? We are looking at a ticking time bomb. Bill is cornered, rejected by his ex-wife, warned by his former mother-in-law, and disowned by his own daughter. A desperate man is a dangerous man, and Bill Hamilton is running out of options. Will he cross a deadly line to get what he wants? How far will Andre go to fulfill his vow to protect Dani? And with Haley secretly poisoning Bill in the background, will Bill even survive long enough to execute his twisted master plan? The pieces are moving on the chessboard, and the collateral damage is going to be catastrophic. Do not miss what happens next. The storm has passed, but the real devastation is just beginning. Fairmont Crest is a powder keg waiting for a spark, and Bill Hamilton is holding the match. Make sure you are subscribed, hit that notification bell, and leave your thoughts in the comments below. Whose side are you on in this epic war? Team Andre or Team Bill? Let me know, and I will see you in the next explosive update.